Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here today on this momentous occasion for our company. I'm going to invite Joanna, who's the Vice President of FCA, to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joanna Ossinger. I'm a Global Markets Editor at Bloomberg News and the Vice President of the Singapore Foreign Correspondents Association, and would just like to welcome all the members of the FCA who are here tonight and all the distinguished other guests who are here. And just want to welcome Erin Olivera, the founder of Earth 300, up to the stage for what I saw the earlier one. It's a really fascinating presentation. So you're in for a treat. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming this evening. It's very nice to have you here. It's, first of all, I want to give thanks to the Singapore government. It's done an incredible job in keeping us safe, in these hard times. I'd also like to thank the Fullerton Hotel for incredible assistance with setting this up. Again, with COVID, nothing is easy, so these guys have been amazing. Also, the menu is done by Fullerton Farms. They've got their own sustainable garden, so that's great. And also, definitely, our printing partners, sustainable printing partners, Print Lab. These guys are the Navy SEALs of printing. I mean, they've been up since last night, putting up these installations. They're really incredible. So thank you all for coming. And for those of you who are Avengers fans, this is not Iron Man's boat. Yeah. Now, our planet is changing physically, economically, and socially. We're living at a pivotal moment in human history where we're facing the greatest challenge to humanity, climate change, one from which we cannot self-isolate. Now, the good news is that humankind is built for bold and ready to step up with far-reaching and bold innovative solutions. For the first time in history, we have access to the talents, the tools, and the technology to address any significant challenge. Think about how far we've come. We've got access to exponential technologies on our fingertips, so the greatest collaborative and cooperative effort in history is both possible and realistic. Now, back in 2015, I was in the Maldives developing a luxury resort. And I went for a dive and I saw dead corals, beautiful white skeletons. And I asked, why this was so. And I was told that essentially with over-acidification and heating, the corals were dying. And so I immersed myself in the topic. I realized that, the world did not need another resort. And I said to myself, this makes no sense. The planet is not headed into a good direction. I started learning about the oceans and the value that they have and the fact that they regulate everything from crops to climate to every single breath we take. I learned that majestic creatures like whales and crocodiles and elephants are ecosystem engineers whose functions transcend the ecosystems that house them. And so I immersed myself in the topic and I started learning about environmental initiatives, and I realized that there were no environmental initiatives that were really known by the mainstream. It's not something that was visible to the mainstream. And again, a bit later on, I was in Monaco at the Oceanographic Museum where Jacques Cousteau was a director. And again, the Oceanographic Museum is one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. It's a narrow building that sits on a cliff edge. It's 100 meter long and 20 meter wide, overlooking the Mediterranean Ocean. And when I was in there, I started thinking, how great would it be, if we could inspire a global renaissance and bring together the smartest and the latest and greatest architects and artists and inventors and scientists of the day. And I thought about, imagine if you had, for example, Da Vinci and Dalí, Galileo and Cousteau, Newton, Columbus and Einstein in one room together, having coffee or cognac, and with access to a level of technology that is unparalleled, or would have been unparalleled in the day or even 20 years ago, but very possible today. And so I thought about whether we could actually gaze people's attention on a global scale on an object that would represent the best that sustainability and science and conservation has to offer. And so the idea was to build an object that would be universally recognized as an emblem for sustainability. And so a little later on, I sat down with my designer in Barcelona, Ivan Salas Jefferson from Ides Yachts. And I said to him, look, we need to capture the attention of the world on a global scale. And I said, I want you to design design an object that is the most recognizable, most dramatic, most impactful, and most iconic object in modern human history. Okay? Now, if you look at the vessel, from the front, it looks very different to the behind of the vessel. So, and this was kind of the idea. I wanted it designed as something that could kind of morph and shapeshift as you looked at it from different angles. Because, you know, Francis Bacon said that wonder is the seed of knowledge. And only when people are wanderers can they really take in new information. When you're in a state of wonder, you're in a state of awe, and you have a tabula rasa. So you're learning as if you were a child, right? And so that is the idea. So if you look at the vessel here on the right side, it's got a very masculine front, you know, very sharp front, and also a very soft posterior where we house the scientific laboratory. So in the posterior, we have 22 state-of-the-art scientific laboratories ranging from weather visualization labs to 3D printing labs, chemical processing, advanced diagnostics, and BSL-3 labs, you know, which can handle COVID. So BSL-3 is biosafety level 3. BSL-4, you go into Ebola. We will not touch Ebola for obvious reasons, but this will be a laboratory where there's going to be a lot of solutions being brought to market. Then the front part of the vessel is the area where we have the what we call the VIP suites, which we are reframing it to what that stands for, which is very inspiring people suites. Why do we reframe it? Because the reason you become important is because you do something of accomplishment and you're acknowledged. But what about all of those unsung heroes and unknowns, you know, the inspiring people who we don't know, who never get a chance to be recognized? So those 20 VIP suites at the back, will have 10 that are leased out to private citizens, and the other 10 we invite individuals who are remarkable, inspiring, and deserving, and they come on a complimentary basis on the vessel. So that's the idea. Then all of the research being done on the vessel is going to be open to the world. So scientists from all across the world will have access to an open platform, and all of the research that we're doing is open in real time. This is one of the reasons why a lot of things don't get done, because research is not shared. So we want to galvanize and change the way things are done here. Then we'll also have on board the vessel not only the 160 scientists, where we're taking a systemic approach to thinking, and we're having marine, land, air, and space scientists, but we're also having experts in residence from different walks of life. So we will have entrepreneurs and economists, engineers and artists, filmmakers and journalists, all coming together, feeding different ideas, and that's really when you make change happen. Sometimes the best ideas come from outside the industries. Neri Oxman said it really well, you know, from the MIT Media Lab at MIT. She said, you know, you don't solve the climate crisis with a PhD in thermodynamics. And then, of course, the students. We're going to have 20 students on board that are all invited democratically, irrespective of creed or country or income bracket. And students will be the ones, you know, the Gen Zs and the I generation, who have been born into a generation of iPads and iPhones. And they are the ones who will be needing to lead us bravely into the future. So we are going to incorporate also students within the inside. And then, of course, the interiors of the vessel will be designed to inspire awe and wonder. So we want this vessel to be a platform that fuels and fosters iconoclastic thinking, and a vessel that becomes eventually the benchmark and the birthplace of the world's most wonderful ideas. And that's really been the whole idea of the vessel, a place where people can come and dream and dare, and we give them the tools and resources to make this happen. Now, the propulsion, I'll talk about how we are powered if we're talking about sustainability. So the only technology that we are pursuing now is the only one that is providing true 100% emission-free, and that energy is atomic. But new advanced atomic, with a technology called the molten salt reactor, which is something that Bill Gates has been developing with TerraPower in the US for the last 12 years. Now, together with a consortium of 8 other companies, which are all of them except one, are US multi-billion-dollar companies like Bechtel, Orano, and 3M, but one of them is called CoPower, and their relationship in the consortium is they are commercializing and promoting this technology for maritime. So we're working together with them to decarbonize the entire maritime segment, and also those industries that are also connected to the maritime segment. Okay? So then in closing, I'd just like to say that our ultimate goal is really to ring the climate alarm on a global scale and inspire a new brand of planetary vanguard. You know, ethical leaders who will come up and develop a new vision, a new economic vision that incorporates the environments and our ecology, and are able to ensure that both are being merged symbiotically, where we move towards a smart infrastructure revolution and post-carbon economy. So we believe the future of our planet is going to be written together. We would like to humbly call out all of those out there, scientists, students, explorers, investors, leaders, to participate and join us in becoming founders and makers of the modern world to ensure the survival of humanity for generations to come. So that's a little bit about the project. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks.